Hello and welcome to the Blue Collar Cook. Today I want to talk about some essentials, kind of essential anyway, some things you need to help you along the way in your keto low carb lifestyle. So let's get to it. So when I first started trying to get serious about my weight, there's a couple things that I was in denial about. First of all, I was in denial that I was obese or morbidly obese. I was severely in trouble. And I just kind of put that off as, oh, well, that's just how I am and that's how I'm going to be. And which brings me to my first tool that I'm going to show you. It seems obvious, but when you're in denial about things, you don't want to know how much you weigh. So the very first thing that you need to come to grips with where you're at is this right here. The old bathroom scales. The enemy of women and men through the ages. It lies and tells stories on you. But here's the thing, this particular scale, when I was getting started, I weighed so much I couldn't find a scale that would read my weight. Most of them top out at certain weights. And when I was at 403, I'd step on the scales and a big E would come up, and that's terrible and really motivating. But to come to grips with my weight, I had to have an accurate measure of where I'm starting at, other than the doctor's office. And like I said, this brand here is capable up to 550 pounds. If you're over that, I'm sure your doctor will give you the information you need to get going. But at 403, this done the job for me. So the good old bathroom scale is a good place to start. And as hard as it is, I know it's hard. I know it's discouraging, but if you don't know, you don't know. And you can't start on your journey without some kind of starting point. So this is kind of my reality check. Where am I at today? Take it for a grain of salt. I know you can measure weight loss through your measurements and how you feel and things like that, but this is a good indicator. So that's number one. The next thing is another scale. When you're doing keto low carb, you eat a lot of meat and you eat a lot of certain vegetables and things like that. And when you're trying to keep up with things, this little scale here helps out. When you're doing your hamburger meat or your steak or pork chops or whatever, you need to know how much you're actually eating. I mean, you look down and see a big patty and you think, well, man, that's a big old hamburger, but in reality, it's not. And I use that tool in combination with another very important tool for me, and that's there's an app called Carb Manager, and it's on your phone. I'm going to show you some things about it, but this tool is probably the biggest asset that I have in trying to lose weight. Because when you start that app, there's a place to enter in all the information, how much you weigh, what your goal is, where you want to be, and then it'll calculate for you your macros and how many carbs that you're allowed, and it'll tell you all the information you need to know. And like I said, that's a whole another video, but it's so beneficial because that app is so smart. When you're eating your food, you can scan a package and it'll tell you right then and there what's in it, how many carbs, net carbs, how many calories, how much fat. All that information is available. You can even talk to it and say a package, and then it'll tell you that. Like I said, that is a super wonderful tool. It helps. I will show you more about that later. I'll put a link in the description. You can go there. They've got a whole university on how to use the app. It's not hard to use, by the way. It's really simple, and it helps me. It shows you progress, and I'll show you some screenshots of that. And but that app that's why you need these because it'll ask you how much protein you had, or how many green beans you had, or whatever. And it's easy to just put in the ounces and let it do the math for you. If you're like me, I hate math and whatever, but it's smart. It knows all that stuff. So as you're moving forward, that app's a good tool. Another great tool to have is it's a couple tools that do the same thing, is you're trying to get into ketosis. That's the state of burning fat for fuel instead of carbs. And really, you don't know you're there at the start. When you start this process, you really don't know you're there unless you measure it somehow or another. And there's two ways to do that. One is the old urine stick. You can buy these, they're relatively cheap, and it'll tell you if you're in what state you're in. Over here, you're really getting it done. Over here, you might need to work on it a little more. But these help. It's just nice to know that you're there. Also, it should be noted that when you start this lifestyle for the first couple of weeks, a lot of people say they have flu-like symptoms. They call it keto flu. And usually that'll discourage a lot of people from going any further. But for me personally, I don't remember having that. I remember feeling sluggish for a couple days. But if you take some multivitamins and some electrolytes and things like that, there's all kinds of advice on how to get through keto flu out there. But if you can do that and press through it, it's worth it. Because when you start getting in ketosis, your energy level goes up. Man, I've felt so good whenever I'm really in the keto zone and I'm doing it. And another thing that does basically the same thing, and this here is just kind of a psychological tool for me, it does the same thing. It's like a little miniature breathalyzer. And you blow into this thing and it'll give you a reading, and it'll say green, that means you're doing good. Yellow and red means that you're in ketoacidosis. Your body has overshot it way bad, and then if that's the case, you need to back off and consult your doctor, because that's a bad thing. A lot of diabetic medicines can cause you to go too far over, and the doctor might need to get with you on your medicines or something like that. So, but this here, like I said, this is probably more of a psychological thing for me. If I blow into it and say it shows up green, and that means I'm doing my thing right, that's kind of like a check box for the day. It's good. So those were some tools that you can use that are just that. They're tools. They can help you along. Like I said, the app, it helps me the best. I log in it daily, and it's like anything you do to start with. It's hard to start with. It's aggravating to sit and log every bite that goes in your mouth, every recipe, everything you do going into your body and registering that. But the more you do it, first of all, the app starts learning what you eat, and you can put your recipes in there, and you don't have to do it but once. And then I can do mine in less than 5 minutes now. Boom, 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 and I'm done. And it's not a big deal. But those first couple of weeks, just trying to get acclimated to a new way of eating and all that, it's hard work, and it's a learning curve a little bit. So, but it's worth it. Also, the last part of this I want to talk about is some tools that you need that you can't buy. You just have to be determined. Determination goes a long way. And if you like me, I've been determined to lose weight. I've lost weight 100 times and gained it back 100 times. And I'm at the point now to where I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm determined. So you need determination. And you need a good support network. You need people that's rooting for you and cheering for you. And you need people like that in your life that they're not going to judge you because you're trying something new for the 100th time. They're like, oh goodness, here goes Steve on his weight loss kick again. Well, he's going to fail. He's going to fail again. You don't need people like that in your life. You need people that's going to stand there, help you back up, and help you go. Because eventually, it's sort of like stopping any addiction. One day you wake up and you're just not an alcoholic anymore. Or you don't drink anymore. One day you just wake up and you don't smoke anymore, and the last cigarette you had was the last one, or the last drink you had was the last one. And evidently, there's one tool. I've been doing this for quite a while, and there's one tool that I'm just coming up on that I've been missing out on. And so next time we get together, I'm going to reveal this tool to you. And here's a little sneak peek. I'm going to reveal it, and I'm going to tell you if I've really been missing out or if it's just all hype. But until next time, may the Lord bless you and eat well.